Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're a golfer today, you know the game's really changed, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's shifted so much from just feel to, well, all this data.
Exactly. You walk into any sim or even use something like a FlightScope Mevo plus one of those portable units, and bam,
Yeah,
you're staring at what, like 30 different numbers?
yeah. It's a flood. Club speed, spin loft, angle of attack, smash factor.
Mm-hmm.
It can be pretty overwhelming.
Right. These launch monitors, they use incredible radar and camera tech,
Oh,
giving us this amazing peek into impact.
you really do. Unbelievable insight. But like you said, the sheer volume of metrics, it can just paralyze you if you're trying to learn.
Mm. Instead of figuring out why you flushed one, you're lost wondering which 5 numbers out of 30 you should even care about.
That's it. You hit a great shot, look down and think, what did I even do there?
Well, that's our mission today. We're going to decode this dense language of speed, spin, shot shape, all of it.
Yeah, let's cut through the noise.
We want to pull out the absolute critical, the actionable things you need to know to actually understand and improve. You know, your swing mechanics, how you transfer energy, how to optimize your shots.
Right. So we've looked at the source material and basically broken it down into three chunks, three logical sections.
Okay.
We'll start with the engine room, raw power and efficiency.
Makes sense.
Then we'll look at the steering wheel, the compass, horizontal and vertical controls, how you direct it.
Gotcha. Direction and trajectory.
Exactly. And finally, we'll look at the outcome, the actual ball flight results. Because if you understand the first two, the third becomes predictable.
Perfect. Let's dive right into that engine room then. Speed and efficiency. If you want more distance, this is ground zero.
Precisely. And the first big one is club speed. That's simply the speed of the clubhead. Well, right after impact.
And that's the foundation, right? It sort of sets your maximum distance potential.
It absolutely does. It defines the ceiling, essentially.
And here's where the numbers get really practical for training. The sources we looked at, they suggest a pretty direct link to distance.
Uh-huh.
Each extra mile per hour of club speed, it adds about, what, 2.5 yards of carry?
Yeah, about 2.5 yards. That's a really solid rule of thumb. It shows that speed training, using speed sticks or specific drills, it has a measurable payoff.
But you mentioned club speed as the potential. What's maybe more useful day to day in practice?
Well, while club speed is foundational, I often find tracking ball speed is more immediately useful.
Okay, so ball speed. That's the speed of the ball itself right off the face.
Exactly, immediately after impact. And here's the key. Getting high ball speed needs two things.
Which are?
High club speed, yes, and centered contact. You need both. You can swing fast, but if you hit it off the heel...
Your ball speed tanks.
Right.
That distinction, club speed versus ball speed, that leads us perfectly into maybe the most important efficiency number, smash factor.
Smash factor,
Yeah.
or impact ratio, some call it. It's just ball speed divided by club speed. Simple division.
And it's elegant, like you said, because it ignores your raw speed. It just tells you how well you hit it.
Exactly. It measures the energy transfer, how much of that club speed actually got into the ball. For a driver, the theoretical perfect is 1.50.
1.50, that's the goal.
That's the optimal number. The closer you get, the more perfectly you nailed the sweet spot.
Okay, let's make that real. Say I swing at 100 miles per hour. Pretty decent.
Oh, yeah?
But my monitor shows ball speed is only 140 miles per hour. My smash factor is...
1.40, 140 divided by 100.
Right, 1.40. And that instantly tells me...
It tells you left 10 miles per hour of ball speed on the table. Just gone.
Yeah.
Why? Because you didn't hit the center of the face well enough.
Wow, 10 miles per hour lost just from contact.
Precisely. So if you're chasing distance, your first job, before trying to swing harder, is get that smash factor up towards 1.50.
Because that 10-miler of lost ball speed, using that 2.5 yards per mile per rule.
That's 25 yards of carry you're missing, just from hitting it slightly off-center.
So 25 yards,
Yeah.
without swinging any faster.
Yeah. A simple drill, like the T-gate drill, putting two T's just outside the heel and toe, forces you to find the center. It's often the quickest way to boost that smash factor.
Okay, that clicks. Efficiency first, then add the raw speed.
You got it. Get the most out of the speed you already have.
Makes total sense. Now, you mentioned consistency metrics briefly earlier. Things like tempo.
Right, yeah. The sources mention things like tempo, which is the ratio of your downswing speed to your backswing speed, and also the club acceleration profile.
And how do those fit in?
Well, they're important because they support a consistent smash factor. Think about it. A smooth, repeatable tempo makes it much easier to deliver the club face squarely to the ball time after time. Consistency underpins efficiency.
Gotcha. So tempo helps you repeat that good strike. Okay, we've built the engine, we understand speed and efficiency, now we need to steer it.
Right. Time to move from just raw power to precision.
These next numbers, they determine not just how far it goes, but where it starts and how it curves. We're talking horizontal control now.
Yeah, and this is often where golfers get a bit confused, but honestly, it's probably the simplest cause and effect in the swing.
Really? Okay.
It all boils down to two main things, club path and face angle.
Okay, path and face. Let's start with where the ball initially goes, the starting line. What controls that?
That's almost entirely down to the face to target angle, or just a face angle.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that club face pointing at the moment of impact relative to your target line?
Right. So if I'm right-handed and my face is, say, 3 degrees right of the target when I hit the ball.
The ball's going to launch basically 3 degrees right. Simple as that.
Yeah.
A neutral face gets you started straight. If you want to play a draw or a fade intentionally, you might set up with the face slightly open or closed. But that angle dictates the start direction.
Okay, but that doesn't make it curve right. A ball starting right could still hook back left. What causes the curve, the hook, or the slice?
Ah, that's the club path. That's the direction the club head itself is moving horizontally through impact. Is it swinging out to the right, into out, or cutting across to the left, out to in?
Okay, so path is the direction of the swing, face is the direction the face is pointing.
Correct. And generally for righty, an into-out path encourages a draw shape, while an out-to-in path encourages a fade or a slice.
So where does the data really pinpoint why things go wrong? Like, I try to hit a draw, path feels good, maybe into out, but it ends up as a straight pull or even a pull hook way left.
Okay, that is the single most critical number for shot shape. It's the relationship between those two things we just talked about. It's called the face-to-path angle.
Face to path. So the difference between where the face is pointing and where the club is swinging.
Exactly. Think about hitting a billiard ball, a cue ball.
Okay, yeah.
If you hit the cue ball dead square in the middle, perfectly aligned with your cue's path, it goes straight, no spin, right?
Right.
That's like a face-to-path angle of 0. The face is square to the path. But what if you hit the cue ball slightly off-center? Say you hit the left side of it while still swinging straight.
It spins, it gets side spin.
Precisely. It rotates relative to its direction of travel. In golf, if your club face is open relative to your swing path, even by a tiny amount, that's like hitting the outside of the ball. You impart slice spin.
Oh, okay.
If the face is closed relative to the path, you hit the inside, imparting hook spin. That small difference dictates the curvature. It's all about the face relative to the path, not just the target.
That's a fantastic way to picture it. So I could have a perfect, say, into out path trying to hit a draw.
Yep.
But if my face is even just 1 degree open to that path?
You're going to get some fade or slice spin relative to that path. It might still start left because of the path, but it'll curve back right.
Right.
Or if the face is square to the path, it'll just be a push.
It's all relative. Wow. Okay, that clears up a lot about horizontal control. Face to path is king for curve.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears from side-to-side control to up and down vertical control.
Right. This is about trajectory, how high it flies, and spin does it stop on the green.
Exactly. And the big one here, the primary input, is your angle of attack, or AOA.
Angle of attack. That's whether I'm hitting down on the ball or up on the ball, right? Vertically.
That's it. Are you striking downwards? That's a negative AOA. Or catching it on the upswing? A positive AOA.
And this is different for different clubs, I assume.
Massively different. With a driver, ideally, you want to hit slightly up on the ball. A positive AOA, maybe a few degrees up.
Why up with the driver?
Because hitting up launches the ball higher naturally and, crucially, reduces backspin. High launch, low spin. That's the recipe for maximum carry distance with the driver.
Okay, high launch, low spin for driver, hit slightly up, but with an iron.
With an iron, you want the opposite. You want to hit down on the ball, a negative AOA.
Why down? What does that do?
Hitting down does two key things. It ensures you contact the ball before the turf for clean strikes, and it maximizes compression and friction between the face and the ball.
Ah, and that friction creates
Backspin. Controlled backspin, which you need for irons to hold the green. The consequence of this strike angle, plus shaft dynamics, is what the sources call dynamic loft.
dynamic loft. So not just the loft stamped on the club, but the actual loft presented at impact.
Precisely. It's affected by how you deliver the club, shaft lean, shaft bend, and definitely your angle of attack.
Okay. And the relationship between that dynamic loft and the angle of attack gives us another important metric.
Yes. A really crucial one for spin loft.
Oh, spin loft. Okay, what's that?
It's basically the angle difference, the gap between the dynamic loft where the face is effectively pointing upwards and the angle of attack. the direction the club is moving vertically.
The gap between those two angles.
Yeah. And what's fascinating, what the data shows clearly, is that spin loft is the direct driver, the main lever, influencing your spin rate.
Really? How does that work?
A larger spin loft,
Yeah.
a bigger gap between dynamic loft and AOA creates more friction, more grab, and therefore generates more backspin, more rotation on the ball.
So if my driver shots are ballooning, flying really high but not going anywhere, just falling out of the sky?
Your launch monitor would likely show you have too much spin loft. And that's often caused by too steep an angle of attack, hitting too much down on it.
Which increases the gap, increases spin loft, increases spin rate, and kills distance.
You got it. So for the driver, shallow AOA, slightly up, keep spin loft small, keep spin rate low, maximizes distance.
And for irons, a steeper AOA hitting down increases spin loft, increases spin rate, gives you stopping power.
Exactly. Now, related to hitting down with irons is ground contact. Where does low point fit in? Low point is critical for consistency with irons. It's literally the lowest point in the arc of your swing.
Okay.
For solid, consistent iron shots where you hit the ball then the turf, your impact needs to happen slightly before the club reaches that low point.
Okay, so the club is still moving slightly downwards at impact.
Correct. That ensures ball first contact. If your low point happens too early before the ball.
That's a fat shot, right? Hit the ground first.
Yep, chunk city. And if your low point is way too late, well after the ball.
You catch it thin, maybe top it all together.
Exactly. So your angle of attack directly influences where that low point occurs relative to the ball. It's all interconnected.
Wow, okay. The vertical stuff is just as important as the horizontal. AOA, dynamic loft, spin loft, low point. They all work together.
They absolutely do. It's a system.
All right. We've covered the engine, speed efficiency, and the compass, path face AOA. Now let's look at the results on the scorecard, or rather, on the monitor readout. The ball flight parameters.
Yeah, let's talk outcomes. These numbers tell you if the swing changes you made actually produced the flight you wanted.
And where better to start than spin, which we were just discussing, the actual number. Spin rate, measured in RPM.
Right. Revolutions per minute. As we said, too much spin with a driver is a killer. That ballooning effect.
What sort of RPM are we looking for with a driver, typically?
You know, for a good player, maybe somewhere in the low 2000s, like 2200 to 2500 RPM is often considered pretty optimal for maximizing total distance, getting some rollout.
But for wedges, you want the opposite, right? High spin.
Oh, definitely. You need that stopping power. If your sand wedge is only spinning at, say, 6,000 or 7,000 RPM...
It's not going to check up on the green. It'll release and roll out too much.
Exactly. You want high spin rates with wedges, maybe 8,000, 9,000, even over 10,000 RPM for maximum control.
And the direction of that spin, the curve we talked about with face to path, that's measured by spin axis, correct?
Spot on. Spin axis tells you the tilt of the ball's rotation. Think of it like the Earth's axis. If it's tilted, the ball curves.
So a positive spin axis value means?
For a right-hander, positive means it's tilted to the right, causing a rightward curve, a fade, or a slice.
And negative means tilted left, causing a draw or hook?
Correct. And the bigger the number, positive or negative, the more tilted the axis and the more the ball will curve.
Okay. Let's talk about the trajectory, shape, and landing. We focus a lot on carry distance, but how the ball comes down matters hugely, especially into greens. You mentioned apex height.
Yeah, apex height is just the maximum height the ball reaches in its flight. Generally, higher apex can mean more carry distance, especially with longer clubs.
But for stopping power?
For stopping power, the key is the vertical descent angle, or VDA. That's the angle the ball is coming down into the ground.
Steeper is better for stopping.
Much better. Think about dropping a ball versus throwing it gently at the ground. The dropped ball stops dead, right?
Yeah.
A steep VDA means the ball is plummeting downwards more sharply. It hits the green and stops quickly with minimal roll. That's what you want with approach shots.
So if my VDA is too shallow, say like 40 degrees with a 7-iron...
That ball's going to hit and run. It'll likely roll well past the pin. You're probably looking for something more like 45, maybe even closer to 50 degrees with mid-irons to get it to stop where it lands.
And that shallow VDA would indicate my launch was too low or my spin rate was too low or both.
Exactly. It's a result of those earlier parameters we discussed, AOA, spin loft, spin rate.
Yeah.
They all feed into that final descent.
Okay. And the final piece of the puzzle, the true measure of consistency in practice. Shot dispersion.
Ah, dispersion, yes. This isn't just one shot. It's the pattern of all your shots.
Mhm.
Where do they land relative to each other?
Monitors often show like a circle or ellipse around your landing points.
Right. Lateral landing is just the sideways miss, but dispersion is the total spread front, back, left, right. A tight dispersion, even if it's consistently 5 yards right of target, is actually really
Well,
good
why is that good if it's offline?
because it's predictable. You know your miss. You can aim accordingly. A wide dispersion, balls going everywhere, that's inconsistency. That's hard to play with.
So the goal in practice is to use the data maybe from face to path or path consistency to tighten that dispersion, make the misses smaller and more predictable.
Absolutely. Use the feedback. Target drills aim specifically at reducing that spread. Turn those wild misses into a tight, manageable cluster.
This has been incredibly illuminating. It takes that overwhelming data dump and makes it, well, manageable. If we boil it all down, the sources really point to optimizing three main areas, right?
I think so. First, distance, the raw power that's driven by club speed, and critically, maximizing that energy transfer with smash factor to
That would be
1.50.
efficiency first, second, precision, the shot shape. Where does it curve?
That's dictated almost entirely by that horizontal relationship, the face-to-path angle. Master that, and you control the curve.
And third, trajectory. How high, how it lands.
And that comes down to the vertical controls,
Yes.
dynamic loft, and especially how you influence it with your angle of attack.
So for you listening, if you had to pick one concept, one relationship to really focus on right now to improve consistency, what would it be?
Hmm. That's a tough one, but I think I'd zero in on the interplay of those vertical parameters, particularly for iron play. Really trying to understand how adjusting your angle of attack, hitting slightly more down or less down, directly changes your spin loft. Because that spin loft, remember, is the main lever controlling your spin rate.
Ah, okay, so AOA, spin left, or spin right.
Nail that sequence. Get the right amount of spin for the shot. Because if
Ah.
you can control your spin rate consistently, you can achieve that ideal steep vertical descent angle
And that steep VDA means the ball lands softly, stops quickly, holds the green.
every single time. That's not just hitting it far, that's true control. And that's how you really lower your scores.